Google Sites is a great resource for creating really basic and clean web pages or websites. So today I'm going to go over how to do that to create your Webquest. To start, you want to go to sites.google.com and it'll take you to this screen. And from there, you want to go to Create. It's going to present you with two options. You can either make your website in the classic sites or in new sites. You want to make sure you use new sites. Google recently revamped their sites platform, and the new sites is just a lot cleaner, a lot more user-friendly. So you want to make sure you're using that and not the old sites platform. Once you create it, it's going to take you to your home screen, your front page. First thing you want to do is name your site. I'm just going to name mine, let's say I was making a Webquest about the Civil War, so I'm going to call my Civil War Webquest. You also are going to provide a page title or what the name of your Webquest is. Now, don't forget this is supposed to be a fun and engaging opportunity for your students, so you want to give it some kind of creative and fun title, but for the purpose of this, I'm just going to name it My Civil War Webquest again. Once you get started, you can change the theme if you want. I'm just going to keep it simple for right now, but if you want to choose that later, you're more than welcome to. If you need to add editors, you can go up to that person that has a plus next to it and click that. Now getting into the actual features and functions of Google Sites. So on our front page here, under the Insert tab, we've basically been given a bunch of different options of things we can add to our site. Now this front page is also going to be kind of our introduction page. So for the introduction of a Webquest, this is when you're getting students familiar with what they're going to be exploring today. Not necessarily exactly what their task is, but just doing something to get them familiar with what they should be learning about. So here I might provide a very simple and basic description of the Civil War, saying today you're going to be exploring, let's say students, I wanted them to look at causes of the Civil War. So I'd give them a really short introduction, today you're going to be looking at causes of the Civil War. I might say what I want them to get out of the Webquest. If there are certain standards that align with the Webquest, I might include those here. And something that's nice is that Google provides a lot of different options for things you could put here. So I might put that all in a text box. If you look over here, you can use images, you can embed a URL of something, or you can upload a document. As always, the way it is with most Google things, you can include anything from your Google Docs. So say you had a short slideshow you wanted them to look at, a form if you wanted them to take a quick kind of pre-test or quiz, you could insert that here. You can embed YouTube videos. There's really a lot that you can do. Anytime you want to use something, you just go find your option and then click it. So let's say I want to add a text box and click that, and it puts it here. I might say, welcome to our Civil War Webquest. Now, as I add more features, let's say I also was planning on inserting an image. When I click this, it's going to have me choose an image. You can search for images too if you want. So let's say I wanted to search Civil War. And I could include this image here. It'll insert it here, but what I'm trying to get at is if you ever need to change the order, you can just click and drag, and it'll switch it. If you ever need to delete something, click the trash can. And finally, if you want to change the color, click this color palette. Once you've set up your introduction page, you want to move on to your task page. Now, to insert a page on Google Sites, if you go to Pages, you'll see this page with a plus. Click it and name it. So next we'd be doing our task, so I'm going to type that in and click Done, and it creates my task page. On my task page, this is where I should explain to students exactly what it is they're going to achieve by doing this Webquest, and what kind of journey they're going to be on. So I might say, you should pretend to be a soldier in the Civil War, and maybe here this is where I could tell them they could either be a Confederate or a Union soldier. Just really getting them more engaged with what it is that they're going to be doing. So I might say you are a Confederate soldier and you are going to research more about the Civil War and why it is the South wants to sustain. As you outline these tasks. You're just going to provide some short descriptions. Again, anytime you want to insert anything onto this new page here, you can use all those options Google provides under the Insert tab. But this is where you're really just explaining to students what the purpose of this Webquest is. It's a little bit different from your introduction because now you're going to go a little more in depth into what exactly it is they're achieving. Whereas our introduction was just a very basic, this Webquest is about the Civil War. I hope that you learned this from it. So after our task, we want to go to our process page. Again, we go right over to pages and click. We'll just write in process. Now, your process page is where you are outlining and listing out exactly what it is your students are doing. So what is the process of this Webquest? This is something that should be done step by step. You could say, first, I want you to read this article. Next, I want you to write a short summary of what that article was. You're listing out every single thing that students are doing to complete this Webquest. Now, something really important to note with the process page is that this is a great area for differentiation. So say you have students that prefer reading to watching the video, but then you also have students who do much better with watching videos and that auditory information than they do with reading. This is really great because you could insert, I could say in a text box, I could write, first, watch this video or read this article. And then I could present them with, both those options. And then for students that prefer to watch videos, they could click the video. For students that prefer to read, they could click the article. But this is kind of the format that you want your process page to take your listing out, what exactly it is that students are doing step by step. And the nice thing about doing it this way with the Webquest and with that differentiation is that this process doesn't have to look the exact same for every student. And this is really nice when it comes to student-created artifacts as well. You could have students, after watching the video or reading the article, you could say, okay, now I want you to create this. I want you to write a short summary, or you could create a concept map. It's really very student-driven, which is the important thing to note here. So on your process page, you want to list out exactly what it is that students are doing, provide those articles and resources and links and everything that they'll need to complete this Webquest, but you're not giving the information exactly to them. You're not just posting a summary of an article and saying, this is what this article says, read it. You can do that, but don't forget that this should really be student-driven, and you want to provide them with options and avenues for exploration. After you have created your process page, you want to do your evaluation page. We're going to create our evaluation page and add things here. One thing that is really important to note for this evaluation is you don't want this to just be a quiz that students are taking. They don't want to do all this work of this Webquest and then they get to the evaluation page and it's just some Google form or quiz where they type in a few responses. Your evaluation page is really a chance for students to show what they have done and what they've created by completing this Webquest. And this is really fantastic because, again, this provides for great differentiation of evaluating students. Say you have students that really like to make videos, you could have students create a short voiceover video to turn in here. Or if students were supposed to write some sort of short description or something under the process page, this is where they could post that response. But basically, you just really don't want to have your evaluation page be a page where you just throw a quiz up there and get responses. This should be where students really show what they know and can create whatever it is to show what they learned and did by completing this Webquest. The final page you want is your conclusion page. And this is where you just want to wrap up what students learned, something that is important to kind of summarize what students should have taken away from this. And it's really short, sweet, easy to do. Now, again, once you're done, you should click through all these tabs, and make sure that it looks the way you want it to. If you ever need to insert something, again, just go up to that insert tab and you have all these options here. You can delete things, change it, whatever you want to do. One thing to note that I did not talk about yet is under pages, you can always change the order of them by clicking and dragging, and it will just Now, obviously, I wouldn't put my conclusion here, but say you wrote a page and then changed your mind about where you want it to go, just click and drag. If you click these three dots, it allows you to change your page name. You can also create sub pages. So I'll just conclusion part 2, but it'll actually make a page within my conclusion page, and it makes a drop down menu on this menu bar that they have here. So if you ever need to put pages within pages, you can do that. If you need to undo that, click this, and you can rename and stuff, but then you can always just drag it and it'll just make it its own page. If you want to make something that you already have written a subpage, drag it and place it on top, and then it will make it that subpage again. So those are the basic features of using Google Sites. There's not a ton of layout customization outside of the themes, but it is a really great way to create really basic websites. So for something like Webquest, this is actually going to probably be more convenient than using something like Wix or Wheelie, because you can create a lot of them. They're very easy to manage. You saw that homepage. I have several sites, really easy to see them, click it, and then edit it. And it's just a really easy way to create these web quests that can be really, really beneficial for your students.